tagaan tog higayon una ang spokesperson sa Richley Corporation nga medyo kuani kanang gabagan ni issue karon sa Bohol ang tubig no, panubig. So walain kundi ang ilang spokesperson sa Richley si Mr. Erastus. Maayong buntag, Sir RD.
May buntag sa kanimo Sir Rex and Ma'am May.
May buntag kanimo sir.
Mayong buntag day udto dire niya diha gabi naman no.
Gabi.
Dire.
Yeah, that's good nga mayo ning nag-guesta ninyo kay ang inyong mga pangutana, ang mga pangutana sa mga tao sa atong maistorya ug unsay atong mga kahimtang diri sa Richley karon sa Bohol.
Yes sir. Kay murag nagbaga kayo nga hisgutan na dihanon nya daghan pa kay mga pangutana nga di matubag even though nga magsik na part 3 na nato di gihapon nato matubag tanan nga mga pangutana kay lain-laing ang mga issue nga daghan man po mga right yun sa laing panig unya lagi po sila mga corresponding nga mga punto. So
nindot ni mo bitan nalipay kuno pa yung pagkalamay express kay ang tungod sa Kalamay Express naabot na sa Amerika ang atong kalamay pero nakasunod pa sa US ang kuan pero sa atong paghinisgot-hisgot na lipay mi nga kamo dinha sa US o sa uban pandapit sa kalibutan interesado gyapon sa panghitabo ug sa mga kalihukan nato diri sa Bohol particularly dinhi nato.
Yes sir. So mga kaigsuunan before ta magpadayon pwede pa ninyo i-share ang atong link aron dili nato mahikawan sa impormasyon, sa facts ug sa mga uban pa nato mga mahibaluan karong gabi una or karong adlaw.
Okay.
So sir, I guess the first one would be
matyan ko. Murag wa kabayad kuryente niya akong suga.
Mao bitaw.
Go ahead.
So sir, ang mga namati karon na aduna naman tay mga kasayuran, mga foundational information bahin sa standpoint ng Richley and standpoint sa mga kanang dili anti-Richley kundi kanang
dili na nato na kay wa maingon nato og natay antay tanan ini kini ato we are going the same direction. Ang atong direction is going
parehas og destinasyon murag ang atong gihisgutan ani is ang paagi sa pangadto no. So sir, kanang unsa man gyud ang three main things na aduna kay tulo ka mo pinaka-importante nga butang nga ipahibaw sa katawhan mahitungod sa water issue nato karon. Unsa man gyud na sila?
Okay. Ako yung butang first place ang ako sa tanaw ninyo nga actually why conflict mga ingon mga tao nga naay conflict. There is no conflict. It's just a matter of linking each other ug asa nga atong common ground. Okay. One thing that is sure is that this is the stand of Richley in connection with Balilihan and Sevilla. The stand of Richley is that Sevilla and Balilihan first, if we talk about it, because this is the main thing that the issue is to give water to Balilihan residents. In the whole property of LGU of Balilihan, Richley is always ready to give its water rights. Let Balilihan LGU use its water rights. So there is no conflict. Anytime they could use it for free and no limit of time. We will not say 5 years, 10 years. There's no limit. And there is no fee for Balilihan LGU to use its water rights permit, which is already approved by the MWRB. So, in this regard, Sir Rex, we are not making an issue of giving or Balilihan getting water through Richley's water rights approval of NWRB. So if you see there, if you look at that, there is no conflict at all. Anytime, Balilihan LGU will ask, okay, Richley, can we use your water rights? They don't even have to ask because publicly we announce it already that they can use the water rights of Richley for free, no fees, and no limit. The only contention that we have is that this is intended for Balilihan residents.
So mo na
And it's
ang inyong sir nga kung mo-provide mo sa ilang murag mo giveaway mo sa inyong rights o mapahuwam sa inyong rights nga ipagamit ang inyong kining approval, dapat limited ra sa Balilihan ang isupplyan sa tubig.
yes.
Dili na mo gawas sa lain nga mga lungsod.
Yes, because that is intended only. Because the Balilihan needs water. It's
Okay.
not, if you look at the background, Richley is, we have enough water right now to supply Cortes, Tagbilaran, Baclayon, Dawis, and Panglao.
Okay.
Those are the main that we have already pipes that's been distributed to residents. So there is enough or more than enough water to supply that. But remember, when during the time that Odette hits Bohol, there was an interruption.
Okay.
If we had a water WTP, which is a water treatment plant in Balilihan, we could have supplied the same. There is no interruption because there is good flow now from Cortes and from Balilihan. So Richley is looking at the big picture. We would like to supply, because right now, please take note that Richley is the only water corporation that is supplying a potable water to the residents of Tagbilaran, residents of Baclayon, residents of Dawis and Panglao, and Cortes. No
I think
other company is supplying a potable water. That's why we're so happy and so glad. And I'm very interested that to somebody to say that you are not the only one. Yes, our competition is the refilling station because they are the only one also supplying a potable water.
Okay.
Now,
Mag nasa yung gamay confusion sir kay amo nang ipangutanan ni Mayor Chato atong last nga giguest na to siya nga kung pwede ba nga mo-supply ang Richley sa Balilihan. So murag ang iyahang pasabot is di siya kung mo-supply magani mo sa Balilihan, gusto po siya nga ang mo-invest sa mga pag-lay sa mga pipes, mga digging would be coming from Richley, dili lang sa mga existing nga mga tubo sa Balilihan. Pero I'm not sure if ningabot na sa lamisa sa tong mayor or sa LGU sa Balilihan nga pwede day ang rights ra sa kining sa kining river.
Nindot sir, I'm very happy nga imong gi-clarify na. Because Richley, as of now, if you ask Richley, we will not intervene with the distribution of water in Balilihan. Kaya nga naman, they have already existing pipes,
Yes.
existing system that can supply to the residents. Now, all they need right now in Balilihan, I'm just so sorry that Balilihan doesn't have a potable water. Why? Because when you get water from Bugwak Spring, it did not pass the clean water requirement from NWRB because it did not pass through a water treatment.
Pero nasa lagi pagawa nasa lagi sulti si Mayor Presa Chato last time nga naa daw sila correct me if I'm wrong, Vice Mayor Tricia, nasa like 15-year na master plan. So
yes.
I'm not sure if the water treatment would be part of the later phase of that master plan.
Yes, but shall I say, ngano huwaton pa nato ng 15 years, and then there is no water in Balilihan to wait it for 15 years.
Okay.
There is already a water. In fact, nagsige na sila draw of water from Bugwak Spring,
Okay.
because this is where the problem lies, in Bugwak Spring in Sibilia.
Okay.
I heard that there is a water in Bugwak Spring and it's been um, suctioned to distribute water to Hanopol itself, just the one. It's been existing right now. They're supplying. And
Okay.
then Richley is saying that we have a water rights in Balilihan. The water rights is practically from Balilihan that you are going to extract the water. Now, if there was any confusion, the confusion only is that there is no structure of Richley right now in Balilihan. There is no structure of Richley in Bugwak Spring in Sevilla because, as I said, that is a reserved water for Richley in time in the future that they will use it for Tagbilaran and the rest where Richley is supplying a surface water. Because even right now, there is a resolution that already prohibits issuance of new water permits for digging, for drilling in
Okay.
Tagbilaran, Panglao, Dawis, and Cortes, and also in Baclayon. So that means that NWRB is only, or if you are a distributor of water, you're only allowed to put a new structure, but it should be from surface water. And I'm happy to say that we have already a second WTP that will be made in Cortes, which is located in Lourdes, Cortes, Bohol. And
Can
this
you
is again,
WTP means water treatment plant, right?
water treatment plant.
Okay.
And that will be distributed again, a backup again, that will give water to 7 barangays in Cortes.
Oh, wow.
All now, yes. So everybody in Cortes will be happy that they will have a potable water very soon. And
How
the
how
next time,
how hard is this na ano ang mga bureaucracies nga inyong naagian pag kay kamo man ang first nga supplier of water sa Bohol nga ang source is surface water, di ba?
yes,
So
Richley has the first
how
water
hard is
treatment.
how hard is the
Hello. Sorry,
Nindot ng
kanang
pangutasan, Rex.
madungog
how
ko,
hard
Rex.
is it, sir? Go ahead.
If
Madungog ko,
you're
Rex. Sorry,
talking,
pasaylon kay kuan. Okay ra?
if you're talking about how difficult to get a water permit or the process in order for Richley to start, it took us years. It took Richley years to finally make a water plant, water treatment plant, and distribute it to Cortes, Baclayon, Tagbilaran, Dawis, and Panglao. Years. And just imagine, it took us years to get that thing. Because if you remember, you have, Chato was the governor then, that he was so glad that Richley finally had this water treatment plant that is going to give the towns in the towns nearby Tagbilaran and Tagbilaran itself, the first one to give them a potable water. Just for the permit, it took us more than 8 months to get the water treatment that finally was signed by Governor Chato upon intervention of so many requirements that Richley was so happy to comply.
Okay.
Remember, Richley doesn't operate anything without proper compliance of the government required and the local government required papers that should be accomplished by Richley. So, in this regard,
napoy argument si Mayor Chato last time nga ang prices sa Richley murag ka nang kumugamit mo sa ilang pipe, murag gamit mo niya man murag palit sila sa inyong tubig ra noon nga ilahang mang piping gamit niya ilahang mga constituents ang mag-suffer sa pricing kasi I'm not sure if it's how accurate is it. How accurate is it yung prices?
Yeah.
Tama.
So murag
Yes, Ma'am May. Go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah.
now sir, murag ang issue magudani is dili na sa between parties no sa mga katawhan.
Yes. Okay.
Water industry should be provided for by the authorities, di ba? So I think ang issue is
Yes.
usahaw nato pagpasiguro sa Richly. Okay, a safety is good, portable water, pero yung accessibility, can the people afford? And kinsa po'y uba na, unsa pa'y ubang financial burdens ana nga mahitabo sa mga tao.
I'm
Kay
sorry.
murag
Na,
explain man ko to the last time na murag mo pilo-pilo ang presyo sa tubig na ika-afford na mapalit sa katawhan. So ang ilang giingon na naman galing dili kabayad sa 8 pesos per cubic, how much more kung 30 or something like that. So unsa may ato ang
lami kayo
So-
na lami kayo ng pangutanahan. There is ang dili lang kapataka ang Richly og hatag og prices without approval of NWRB, because that's the governing body that govern on the water, plus the including prices, not only the type of water that should be delivered to the people. Now, nindot ng pangutanahan nga unsa may maayo nga presyo kay karon taas gani ning atong presyo. Remember, ang Balilihan is getting water from Bugwak Spring in Sevilla. Now, if you are getting your water right now direct from the ground, like drilling, kay namagoy uban sa Balilihan karon is through drilling gyapon ang ilang distribution. That is fine, but remember, that is not a guaranteed potable water.
Okay.
That is not something that people are, happy to drink and happy to use. Why? Because there are still contaminants in the water that cannot be killed by what we call, just to kill the bacteria, which is ang ibutan nato sa tubig nga what you call this, mawako usahay ining kuan nato. It's fine to have it or have it boiled. Munay ilang gisilbi nga giingon nga ipaboil lang, pero ang contaminants, the TDS, you cannot get, and that's where you get too many people, and the intrusion also of salty water, which is causing the Boholanos a problem in their kidney.
Okay.
That's
So,
one of the problems.
Well,
Yes, Sir Rex.
Ako tanay pangutanan nimo kay ako nagipangutanan ni Mayor Chato atong 2 weeks ago regarding sa unsa man ang mga kay kani si Sir Ricky maniki muram ihaman po ni advocacy.
Yes, we remember that
Iyan ang
si Ricky
iyan ang gi-expose
is
ka
one.
iyan ang gi-expose kay daghan na ang mga kidney patients na sa Bohol tungod sa panubig, and we are very surprised because I don't know kung asa ang mga studies ang nagikan, if there's such an agency nga nag-conduct og study nga tubig ang hinumdan or other aspects.
It's a fact that salt is one of the causes of a kidney problem, kidney stones. Now, Mr. Ricky Mananggit was one of those asking Richly to provide water to Balilihan because of the problem in Balilihan that they do not have a potable water. Now, I like the question of Mamay Nonag regarding the price.
Okay.
Now, there is a price control. If you have a water that is not go through the proper or 7 stages, even the minimum stages of making the water potable, of course, your prices will grow up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with me, Mamay, that if you add another stages of purification for the water, of course, you'll be spending, then that water will be a little bit higher in price. So what happened is that Richly is giving you a water that is potable, a premium water, which is Richly is the only one doing right now with its water treatment plant that goes through 7 stages.
Okay.
That of course, going through 7 stages, prices will be a little bit higher compared to a water taken out from the ground without going through the process the same as Richley's process that's going on. Now, here's one thing in Balilihan. We are not, because you're talking about the distribution. Richley is not interested to compete with Balilihan to distribute water to its residents. In fact, we made Richley management made it clear that we don't supply water to Balilihan if Balilihan doesn't want it.
Okay.
Balilihan will get only a treated water if Balilihan will ask Richley to make a water treatment plant, which is part also of Richley to make its water rights compliant with NWRB. And then one of the aim is to give the people the clean potable water to not only to Balilihan, but for sure a backup to the present existence of water distribution of Richley, which I'm happy to include also. We are so glad that Richley is now has reached the 5,000 mark of water subscribers to Richley Corporation. We are in the 5,000 already. So we were happy. It's only in December that happens, and it's Christmas, and everybody should be happy because right now this is the first time that most people are complaining about Richley. The complaint is most of their lines are leaking because of the pressure. But people, the management, our general manager is very active and quick in responding to those problems. And just imagine our water treatment plant, if nobody knows, every 4 hours it goes through a water testing.
Okay.
Every 4 hours, every day.
Every 4 hours sila.
Richley has. Yeah.
So wala tay
Richley,
wala tay question sa safety sa kuan,
yes.
safety. Ang accessibility na lang ana no kanang unsaon
Yes.
pag kuan ana sa katawhan.
Na mga tao nga may suporta sa inyo sir nga ang inyong presyo is governed by NWRB. Nod ba po na o it's still based sa expenses, sa cost sa paghatag sa tubig.
That is NWRB approved. Because
so you apply for the price.
I-apply gyapon.
Yeah, we have to go through and you have to show what is the reason for this rate.
Okay.
Because NWRB will not just approve any prices for the water without them questioning and scrutinizing as to whether it is right, whether it is fair, whether it is good for the people. Are you giving the right services? Now, I like Mami's question. It's the accessibility. Of course, we need accessibility to the water. That's why Richley is very much open to let Balilihan use its water rights. That way, because this is the only, remember, our Richley's water rights is the only one approved right now because Balilihan's water right was cancelled and revoked due to the fact that NWRB stated that they are canceling the rights because NWRB was misled of the application of Balilihan that they will get water or supply from Balilihan, not Sibilya. That was the reason.
Okay. So usa ni siya ka-legal nga isgutanan sir no, usa ka legal nga isgutanan maintag mapaklaro sad ni sa kanang legal nga pamaagi kay nakit-an man pud nato tong mga tubag na
Yes.
ang Bugwak mismo daw is naa sa Lobok River, although geographically nasa sa Sevilla. That being said, ang Bugwak mismo wala untay unsa ba to na nag-iya nga entity or LGU bisan pag geographic is Sevilla siya. Unsa may kasulti nimo ana?
Agree. Ang akong ikasulti ana is ang NWRB mo yung tubag. Sila mo naghatag og approval sa water rights og approval or revoking a water rights that's not properly done. So ang NWRB manubag kay dili mga richly moingon kami mo mag-determine. But remember, if you're talking about the structure karon kay mayo nang dapita, the structure that Balilihan made on the side of Sibilya is on the lot owned by the Ihok family before.
Okay.
The Ihok family was asked for Balilihan to get water on that side. But the history shows that there was never an agreement between Ihok family and Richly now, not Richly, I mean Metropolitan is now the owner of that land. Remember, ako lang na ipakita ninyo, actually there is no conflict between Richly because that's another corporation in the Metropolitan. That is another who owns, and Metropolitan, they bought that lot in Ihok lot in Sevilla is owned by Ralph Lim. Now,
Okay.
before
Which is,
that, it was owned by Ihok.
Ralph Lim is the manager of Richley, right? President
of Richley right now.
Yes.
But the thing is, the property doesn't link, Richley did not buy it. So it's Metropolitan. So if you talk about the other side in Balilihan side, it was owned by the Pahuta family. The
Okay.
Pahuta family owns it, and it was also owned now by Metropolitan. So actually, Richley, if you're talking about the acts of Richley, it's because Richley really would like to help Balilihan in terms of the giving water, giving the rights, or making it used by Balilihan, the water rights. Why? So that they will be able to, even right now, Richley would like, okay, use our property.
Pero nindot nanong sorry to
Oh.
interrupt na naalang ko'y nakitaan nga sa kuan nga ingon kay si
Oh.
Ted Ayeng nga willing kuno si Bishop
Yes.
Abet na
Abet,
bumigit.
Bishop Abet.
Yeah, kay murag
Yeah, we have that.
murag I don't know, kinanglan ba na siya ug mahitabo ba na unsa man sa side sa Richley ana sir kanang willing pa mo
Maayo
na
kayo.
midget na
Kay-
kuan
Just like I said,
kay
Richley is
kinsa man
always
jud bay sige
open.
kiha kinsa man jud bay sige reklamo sa kinsa man jud kay wa man ta nasayod ani
Well,
so kami diri sa Kalamay Express maghatag lang mi og luna nga para makitaan
yeah.
ano ba sa
That's good.
og sa kung
Just
sa
like I
Torres
said,
kinsa man jud
And-
una-unahon kisay taga Pikas Tampi
dili, ang unahon yun din is to make sure that extraction of water from it's either Balilihan side or Sibilya side, the papers should be right and it should be correct. Just like what Governor Chato now, Congressman Chato did to Richley before. Before he signs and before he approved the permit of Richley or existing Richley right now, he made sure that each and single required paper should be complied, which Richley, willingly and abide all those requests by the government of the provincial government of Bohol and comply all those things, submitted it to NWRB. That's why we are here until now, that the approval from NWRB was due to the diligence of Governor Chato before that. No single violation should be given to a corporation to provide water, to provide business, to make business in Bohol. So that was a good one, because when do you fix the problem? Is it only when the problem is seen already that there was a loophole in approving the permit? No. That's why muna giingon. That's why in WRB, this what called revoke the water permit of Balilihan because there was a loophole in that one. What was the
Pero,
loophole?
Murag, go ahead,
Oh.
sa loophole nimo. Guys, murag napsata sa oras, pero sige, padayon sa mga loophole, gamay.
Ang mao nila mo bitaw ning ako yung giklaro kay aron makita mo nga Richley doesn't have a problem. I am very happy. Richley was so glad being a Christian and being with our Bishop Uy coming into the picture. Because you see,
tingali ka na lang ato
Richley-
ipanawagan po hono kay murag kanang no amount of episodes of Kalamay Express
No, we
can
thought
really
that-
can really and it's not our intention also, or just our intention is
No,
just to
you're
hear
just
both
making
sides,
it clear.
and we are
Very
very
side.
thankful
Sir,
for that
napa kay
one,
last
right,
na,
Fred?
ano, murag naapsan tag-oras, daghan, lami, pagay taghisgutan, por napa,
Yeah,
nagpaabot
pero
Yes.
atong tagaan sa
In-
side si
No.
ato
nag-aasa
si
pikas
Attorney
side
Trisha.
kana si Vice Mayor Trisha Chato, which is atong paminawan ng taon. Pero ana ba kay gusto nga
Yes, as
ipanawagan
a party word.
word,
No.
yes.
But ngunit panawagan, kaya I know the time is very precious. Last panawagan, Richley is willing for Balilihan to use its permit, water permit, which is now approved by NWRB. Use it. And if you want Richley to make the proper water given to Balilihan, we are glad. Just tell us, Balilihan, Richley will make a water treatment plant so we can supply you with bulk water for the residents of Balilihan. Remember, bulk water supply to Balilihan. What does it mean? It means going through the proper process of going through bidding, anything. Bidding, bahala na. Basta kay whoever wins is good. Oh, supply lang. That's good. And thank you very much for this opportunity. And if you'd like to have more clarification, I'll be glad to be in your program.
Salamat kay Sir Hardy og sa management sa Richley Corporation. Salamat kay paghatag sa inyong panahon sa Kalamay Express sa paghatag og trust sa among programa. Nga I hope nga you'll stay put para panuno sa side ni Vice Mayor Trisha Tato nga ating pasaka after a commercial break. So we will be right back.
So break pa ba?
Yeah, gamay lang. Gamay lang.
The water's rising, the dam is breaking in.
Welcome back. So, ayan kayo, kanang bitin kita guras, no? So, pero nagpasalamat sa management sa Richley Corporation nga nagpadayag po sa isang side, pinaagi ni Mr. Hardy Lupando. Karon ni ato na po paminawan ang side sa Balilihan. Itong week ago, diri sa atong programa si Mayor Puresa Chato, pero karon naapod si kani kay abogado